Chapter 80. For the leader, upon Shoshanim, a testimony, a psalm of Asaph. Give ear, O shepherd of Israel, you that leadest Joseph like a flock, you that are enthroned upon the cherubim, shine forth. Before Ephraim and Benjamin and Manasseh, stir up your might, and come to save us, O God. Restore us, and cause your face to shine, and we shall be saved. O Lord God of hosts, how long will you be angry against the prayer of your people? You have fed them with the bread of tears, and given them tears to drink in large measure. You make us a strife unto our neighbors, and our enemies mock us as they please. O God of hosts, restore us, and cause your face to shine, and we shall be saved. You didst pluck up a vine out of Egypt, and you didst drive out the nations, and didst plant it. You didst clear a place before it, and it took deep root, and filled the land. The mountains were covered with the shadow of it, and the mighty cedars with the boughs thereof. She sent out her branches unto the sea, and her roots unto the river. Why have you broken down her fences, so that all that they that pass by the way do pluck her? The boar out of the wood doth ravage it, and that which moveth in the field feeds on it. O God of hosts, return, we beseech you. Look from heaven, and behold, and be mindful of this vine, and of the stock which your right hand hath planted, and the branch that you made is strong for yourself. It is burned with fire, it is cut down. They perish at the rebuke of your countenance. Let your hand be upon the man of your right hand, upon the Son of Man, whom you made strong for yourself. So shall we not turn back from you. Quicken you us, and we will call upon your name. O Lord God of hosts, restore us, cause your face to shine, and we will be saved. All right, let's go back up. Verse 1. Once again, it's for the leader upon Shoshanim. Shoshanim is the plural for the place of the lilies, so it's the places of lilies, or the pleasant places. I like to think of them as a more pleasant time, a more pleasant place we could be. But this here's a testimony. A testimony is always an account, somebody, a witness's version, so to speak. And this one here is a song of Asaph. It was written in a song to be remembered. Asaph is the gatherer. We're going to pick it up in verse 2. Give ear, O shepherd of Israel, you that leadest Joseph like a flock, you that are enthroned upon the cherubim, shine forth. Give ear, listen up. We're speaking to God directly. O shepherd of Israel. God is the shepherd of Israel. God is the one who brought them forth out of Egypt. We're going to be seeing that in this. And he leads Joseph like a flock. And Joseph is the one that went down into Egypt. Joseph means that which is added. Went down into Egypt to prepare. To prepare was to make ready. And we'll find out for that which was going to be added. That which was going to even be added to the flock at that time. We'll find it's the whole purpose of God is to add to his flock. And we're trying to get everybody into the flock of God, because everybody is one of the Lord's sheep, if we want to look at him like the shepherd. See, we all belong to the Lord. You that are enthroned upon the cherubim, shine forth. And you that are enthroned, or you that is situated between, you that dwells there, you that abides there, you that stands there, any way you want to look at that. Enthroned is more like cause to sit there. You've been given that seat. That's your place, and we'll find out that's the judgment seat. These cherubim that we're talking about here are the two that are over the ark of the covenant, and that's what's in that ark of the covenant. Just like Noah's ark, it carried the covenant. or the agreement that God had made to save. It's a very simple thing. It's the law. It's the Torah. It's your instructions. It's the light. It's your understanding. 3. Before Ephraim and Benjamin and Manasseh, stir up your might and come to save us. Before Ephraim. Ephraim's the fruitful, the double-fruited, I like to refer to them at. And that's because they mingled their understandings. And Benjamin is the son of my right hand, or the son of my strength, the son of my works. And Manasseh's those that cause to forget. Stir up your might. Stir up your might. Stir up your ability. Stir up these things that will cause us to be saved. 4. O God, restore us and cause your face to shine, and we shall be saved. O God, restore us. Restore us, or cause us to live again. Cause us to be alive. We'll have this referred to many times. This is what this psalm's about. Cause us to live again. And cause your face to shine, and we shall be saved. Cause your face to shine. Cause the things that you make plain to come forth. See, because it's God that does all these works. It's God. He's been working throughout time, throughout the millenniums. Not just one day or 2 days. God's always been working. And that's what this face is. A face is anything that's made plain. It's something that's, if we had a rock and we put a face on it, we would just flatten it out, smooth it off, and that would face it. It would prepare it for a work. 5. O Lord God of hosts, how long wilt you be angry against the prayer of your people? O Lord God of hosts. And we'll find out this is the Almighty, the Elohim, the might and the strength of all the hosts, because God's God, and He all things. The host is all things. How long will you be angry against the prayer of your people? How long are you going to be angry? We'll find out when we do wrong. We are malicious in our wrongdoings, I should say. That means we have understanding and do violate as if we don't care. That would be to be malicious. And in that case, God's face is turned because God's angry. God's angry because you knew better, but you done it anyway. And there's a punishment to be paid. God ain't saying that He's not going to return. God always hears you. God hears you, but sometimes we just have to get through, because we'll find out there's consequence for action, and there's consequence for action, and sometimes we've got to bear up the consequence, even though we've turned. 6. You have fed them with the bread of tears, and given them tears to drink in a large measure. And you have fed them with the bread of tears. The bread of tears is the bread of mourning. It's like being in the house of the dead. That's the bread there. Or that which nourishment, something you're going to get there, a substance, a lesson, so to speak. You've given them tears to drink in a large measure, and this is trouble. This is crying. This is mourning. And to drink it, this is substance. This is for a lesson that you can learn by, is exactly what it is. 7. You make us a strife unto our neighbors, and our enemies mock as they please. You make us a strife unto our neighbors, and strife is trouble we are in contention with. Our enemies mock as they please. Because we'll find out this is a period there's no support. There's no support. It's like when you're being punished, you're being supported, because see, that's what happens to God when we don't keep His law. We don't support God. We don't uphold God. We don't honor God by not supporting His understanding. We go outside His understanding, and when we do, God kind of takes away our support. We fall down. See, because we'll find in the end, God supports everything, even us. 8. O God of hosts, restore us, and cause your face to shine, and we shall be saved. O God of hosts, restore us, cause us to live again, cause us to stand upright, stand us back up, cause your face to shine. Make these things that you've done plain, and we'll find out. We shall be saved. 9. You didst pluck up a vine out of Egypt. You didst drive out the nations and didst plant it. And we'll find out, documented, God did these things. You did pluck up a vine out of Egypt, and we're talking about Israel. He brought them forth out of Egypt by a mighty hand. Egypt's a place of snares, traps, pits, holes. It's 1,000 different ways to look at what's really just the understandings of men. These ignorances men had at that time and all their different written ways they had to become, to go to heaven. We could say everybody, depending on who you was, had a little different path you might have to follow to get to a destination. That their not a gods had these spells or whatever you want to call them. But we'll find out God brought Israel up out of all that, brought them forth, because just like Abraham, they knew there was just one God. There wasn't all these other gods, these not gods. God said, I give them to all the other nations because of their error. But you shall not do that thing. 10. You did clear a place before it, and it took deep root and filled the land. And God made a way. See, God made a way. He brought His remnant forth, his little vine here we're referring to it as, His little shoot. God did that. He brought it forth. He made a place for it. He had, and it grew. It grew. It took deep root, filled the land. 11. The mountains were covered with the shadow of it, and the mighty cedars with the boughs thereof. And God made an example with Israel of His law, using it as an example. And the mountains were covered with the shadow of it. These mountains, all the high places, they were shadowed by its understanding. They were all brought under it. And the mighty cedars with the boughs thereof. These mighty cedars are all the ashers that they used to plant by their groves. And their groves were their idols, their images, their little pillars, whatever they used to stand up. This is what the children of Israel found when they come in the land. We'll find out God's understanding overtook all of it. Took it all over. Well, God created it in the beginning. It was always over it. 12. She sent out her branches unto the sea, and her roots unto the river. She sent forth her branches unto the sea. And we're going to use she because it's beautiful. We want to look at it like the feminine, in that feminine sense. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful thing. It's a great thing. That she did send forth her branches unto the sea, and her branches to all these waters. These waters here refer to all the different understandings, but it's all those that have them too. It's the people of it, the people and that life that's in the sea, and her shoots unto the river. The river here is, we see river capitalized because river here is in reference to the Jordan. And we're talking about those waters that descend unto God, or descend from God. It's the Torah, it's the law, coming down from God. That's where her shoots went unto. 13. Why have you broken down her fences, so that all they that pass by the way do pluck her? Why have you broken down her fences, so that all they that pass by do pluck her? Why? Because God is making an example. God's making an example. God punishes. God is just. God is not going to show favoritism in the transgression of the law. And that's basically what we're learning here. Matter of fact, those that he loves more, he does try to correct the more. 14. The boar out of the wood doth ravage it, that which moves in the field feeds on it. The boar here is a swine. It's a pig. It's katzir. And what it is it's an unclean animal. And what it is, if we looked it up, we would find it's to reference that which is closed up. It's closed up. It's been placed in a containment. What it is the uncleanness. The uncleanness has been contained, and that's what that stands for. See, God separated the flesh. In the flesh, God made a separation, and He used the swine in it with great reference to show He contained the uncleanness of flesh in that. So that's what that stands for. That's why we don't eat pork. 15. O God of hosts, return, we beseech you. Look it from heaven, and behold, and be mindful of this vine. O God of hosts, return. We beseech you. We call upon you. We beg you. We cry unto you. Return. O God of hosts, God's standing right there. It's us that has to return. See, God returns. He's waiting, constantly waiting for your return. You're the one. You are the one we're waiting on to turn. See, look from heaven, and behold, and be mindful of this vine, and remember that which you had planted from before, that example that you had made. We'll find out when God makes an example, there's a great reward that goes with it. A great reward for His servant that does what He asks. And that would be to keep His laws, His statutes, His ordinances, which He give you for your own good. That which you have to do. 16. And of the stock which your right hand hath planted, in the branch that you have made strong for yourself. And that's that stock, that's that cutting. That cutting God took, that remnant God spared that He brought forth when they come up out of Egypt. Not everybody come out of Egypt. A lot of them had become culturalized. They had become accustomed to that way. They wanted to stay. There was only a portion of all the house of Israel that come forth from Egypt. And that was that branch that God made strong for Himself, that God was going to use to show Himself magnificent in the earth. And He did just that. 17. It is burned with fire. It is cut down. They perish at the rebuke of your countenance. It is cut down. It is burned. It is, we'll find out, it's in the fire. Not burned. Not burned. It's in the fire, but it's not being consumed. We're going to find out. God's got the ability to reach in and pluck it out. It's not going to be burned, even though it's been cut down. They perish at the rebuke of your countenance. It's because these would be the unjust if they perish. If you perish, it's because of your own transgression. It's not nothing that God did. God made the law. He made the law for your own good. And if you perish, it's from your own free will choice to not do that which is correct in the eyes of God, correct in His understanding, to be right before the Lord. It's a very simple thing to do. It's nothing you should have to struggle with. 18. Let your hand be upon the man of your right hand, upon the Son of Man, whom you made as strong for yourself. Let your hand be upon the man of your right hand. The one you've chosen in the strength of your word. We'll find out in the beginning, this would be the priest. God makes an example. God always making an example out of everything, and He always dividing things up to be portionalized for the example that He wants to use them for. Upon the Son of Man, whom you made strong for yourself, and that's what God's done. He makes them strong. Why? For Himself. He's trying to prove God uses everything to show Himself. 19. So shall we not turn back from you. Quicken you us, and we will call upon your name. So shall we not turn back from you. And that's because that's what happens. We turn back from God. We turn back from God's understanding. That's why we're always saying turn. And God will quicken. God quickens us. Quicken us is to cause you to live again, to restore you to life, to redeem you, to bring you back out of the grave, that place you're in, through transgression. When you sin, you die, in a sense. A lot of people say, well, I ain't dead, I'm standing here. Yeah, but you're on the wrong side, see. You're on the wrong side of living. You're on the death side. It's not going to make anything get any better, in other words. Your transgression's didn't help nothing. And if it don't help, it's obviously destroying, destructive in some manner. Contrary to life itself, I should say. Contrary. To be contrary to it is because you're contrary in your understanding. It's a very simple thing. If you're contrary to life, you're contrary in your understanding. We have to align ourselves. Life was here when you got here. You're going to have to line yourself up with it. See, because it's going to keep going without you in the proper direction too. And if you get destroyed on the way, that's just what's going to happen, because you're the one that's going to cause that. It's your free will. It's your choice. Even in the beginning, God said, here's a choice between life and death. Choose life. Told you which one to choose. The right choice, He told you. Give you a choice and then give you the one to make. Told you the right one. But in your understanding, you got contrary. You got contrary to God's understanding. And that's when we find ourselves. We're the one that went out there. We did it ourselves. God does a lot of things, but these things you do yourself. He gives you free will. He's trying to show you, you're going to have to learn how to handle your own authority. 20. O Lord God of hosts, restore us. Cause your face to shine, and we shall be saved. Restore us. Cause us to live again. Cause your face to shine. All these things that you've made plain. It's evident in the earth today. Cause it to shine, be made known, and we shall be saved. Because we would be able to understand God's great work, see. And if that's what you're waiting on, it's right before your eyes. All you just need to do is open them. We're going to move forward to Psalms 81. Turn and return.